Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Kill the Cast. My name is Jerry and with me is, of course, Jay.
Ah, shit, I forgot to look up a quote for The Village.
You are amazing, and the Silent Hill biker himself, Kenneth.
I just didn't take the time to look up for a quote for The Village.
You don't ever have any quotes, Kenneth. Nobody expects that from you.
Just do Noah. They're coming.
There you go.
Okay, so let's. You know what? I'm gonna start with you, Kenneth. What have you been doing since our last podcast?
Actually, I've been just spending time trying to find new stuff to watch. And it's starting to turn out to be very difficult to find new things to watch because I've watched so much stuff. I did start Stranger Things. I didn't get very far into it, not because I actually really enjoyed it. It was just I had other things going on. But I really like the fact of how 80s it is, and I mean like real 80s, not Hollywood 80s. I love that.
I can't wait for you to finish that. It's so good. Do you need me to send you some movies? I'll send you the August Underground trilogy for you to watch.
Yes, dude, I've been wanting you to send me that for like years.
I can send it to you. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, me and you've had a discussion about that like 5 or 6 times, and I keep saying, send it to me.
Yeah, but every time I talk to you, you have your shirt off, and I'm looking at fucking Black Phillip in your chest.
Sweet.
Anyway, Jay, what have you been up to?
I've had a pretty busy week. Last Friday, I went to PAX and got to see the reveal trailer for the Friday the 13th game Kill Montage that has recently hit the internet that I think we're going to talk about here soon. And I also got to meet the one and only legend, master of special effects, Tom Savini, and had him sign my Blu-ray copy of the 90s remake of Night of the Living Dead that he directed.
That is amazing, and I'm jealous. I'm super jealous. I'm way jealous than I should be. I'm gonna go ahead and plot to start trying to steal that.
Yeah, my pants just got moist listening to you talking about it.
You'll have to get past the laser grid security system, the robot guard dogs, and Batman.
Nice. Very good.
Batman? How do you have enough money to hire like one of the world's like richest people? How do you have enough money to like have Batman?
Wait a second.
I just dangled some justice in his face, and he was like, "Oh, justice."
All right, my question is it Christian Bale? Is it Michael Keaton? Or is it Ben Affleck? Or
it's Ben Affleck. I want him to kill people if they get too close.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I was really hoping he would be like, "No, it's Adam West."
Yeah, that was the last one I was fixing to go. I was just like, are we going to go back further to Adam West?
It's George Clooney.
I didn't even want to think about
Batman.
that.
Look, if my Batman
so it's actually
got nipples, I don't want it.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Jesus. So it's actually a pretty cool story because the panel, signing anything was not part of the panel. It was just supposed to be him and the producers of the game talking about the game. But they let us in 15 minutes early, which is kind of abnormal for PAX. Usually it's like maybe 5. And so as they're like getting everything ready, because it was being broadcast on Twitch as well, I just looked around and there was no security. I was like, fuck it, I'm going for it. And I just walked up there. I was like, Mr. Savini, can I get you to sign this? And I already had like the sleeve pulled out of the case and everything. He's like, well, I don't want to start a line. I was like, I'll be quick, promise. And then he signed it for me. And I was like, I didn't import that from Australia, because apparently Australia is the only country that's allowed to produce the Blu-ray. I have no idea. There's some kind of weird copyright surrounding that movie. But he signed it for me. And then I went back to my seat, and that was pretty awesome. And then at the end of the panel, they did a Q&A. And so I completely ignored the game because when am I going to get another chance to ask Tom Savini a question directly? And I asked him what's his favorite movie that he's worked on, whether it was a director, special effects, actor, whatever. And he said From Dusk Till Dawn, simply because he got to stare at Selma Hayek for 5 days straight.
Nice.
I can't argue with that logic. That sounds super solid.
Hell yeah.
So all right, okay, well that was good. So speaking of PAX. And the Jason kill montage. How did everyone feel about this montage?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was so cool, especially to watch Tom Savini introduce it, because he designed all the kills for the game that you can do. Some of them are context sensitive, some you can just do regardless of what's going on.
I I am honestly, I kind of don't want to see anything else to do with this game until the game comes out, because I'm starting to slowly get the feeling that like I might burn out of this game really fast, because it seems like there might only be so much you can do, and it's in like obviously that's the same with any game, but like I feel like it's going to be really really limited in this game.
Well, the thing to remember is that it's a multiplayer game, so the counselors' reactions aren't scripted. It'll always be different. They did say during the panel that there are ways for the counselors to win. Like you can drown Jason, I think is one of them. You can like get the parts together to fix a truck and just get out of the camp, stuff like that.
So I'll enjoy the game as long as I have friends. So I'm not going to enjoy the game.
So is there going to be? Is there going to be any kind of campaign or anything, or is it just strictly multiplayer?
Actually, I'm not sure. Nobody asked that question. I would imagine there'd be an offline mode, but I don't think there'll be any kind of like story behind it. Because there's a few different maps and locations from the movies that you can play as, and I know they have different Jasons that you can play as. I don't know if you have to play to unlock them or how that works, but
well, I saw in whatever, I don't know if it was the PAX footage, but I saw some footage this morning while I was at work, and it was different kills and stuff, but I saw a image of my favorite Jason, which is the Jason from Part 7, and so I'm guessing
7's in it.
Yeah, I'm guessing you can get that one. So, you know, I'm really stoked, but I'm kind of with Jerry. I'm afraid that it's going to end up being like Grand Theft Auto, man, where you do all the fun shit really, really quick, and then it's just boring the rest of the way.
Maybe. I mean, he said what they showed wasn't all that there is. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm like super hyped for the game, so I'll probably end up buying it day one regardless. I've
already got mine pre-ordered.
I'll pre-order it as soon as they announce the Halloween H2O DLC.
I'm waiting to see if they do a collector's edition, because if they do that, I'll probably snag it, depending on what the edition is, like if it comes with a mask or whatever.
Gotcha. And speaking of Friday the 13th Part 7, Kane Hodder finally has a decent trailer out for his Expendables of Horror movie Death House. And well, first let's just talk about the trailer real quick. I think we're all pretty meh on it. It looks pretty straight down the row average.
See, I really like the concept, but it looks like the camera work is like those college student B movies that just immediately go to DVD, or like anything the Asylum makes. So I'm very confused why he has all of these like horror icons. Well, some of them aren't icons, but you know what I mean. Like this entire cast of people that have pretty much been in only horror movies, but the camera work just looks so bad. Like movies filmed with GoPros look better than this movie.
It turns out Sig Haig said he would only be in it if it looked like it would be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Really?
No,
that's funny. Lying. Oh, okay. Well, that would have at least explained it.
Why would you even believe that for a second?
I don't know, because people are weird and they have weird requests. Samuel Jackson would only do Snakes on a Plane if it was called Snakes on a Plane.
I'm not.
He said, "I'm not." He said, "I'm not making a movie about snakes on a plane unless you just call it Snakes on a Plane."
That's pretty funny.
Hey, Samuel Jackson believes in honesty in advertising. So yeah, it looks like it might be okay, but it does look a little low on quality. Though I did laugh at the line when Kane Hodder just walks by the car and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you in hell."
Yeah. Yeah. I really like the concept. I just feel like it should be better executed.
Yeah. So
because they've got people from like tons of franchises: Friday the 13th, Devil's Rejects, and House of a Thousand Corpses. The chick from Sleepaway Camp's in there. Like I was going through the cast earlier and looking at what they did, and there's so many people from so many different horror movies.
Yeah. I mean, Candyman's in there. It's ridiculous, the amount of people in there. But the horror community at large is being super negative about this movie. Not even like as where we just talked about, we were like, it looks a little low budget. Everyone else is just like freaking out, and there's this part of the community that is specifically talking about, oh, I thought this was going to be all the horror icons playing their characters, Jason and Michael and, Captain Spaulding, and I'm like, are you an idiot? Like, how did you even think that was possible? The actors don't own the rights to the characters, studios do, and they're not going to just, like, lend that out. Like, do you understand the budget you would have to pay the amount of licensing fees to make that idea happen?
I mean, a prime example of that, man, is like how fucking long it took them to make Freddy vs. Jason. How long it took for both of for those two studios to get something together to eventually to the point of where Paramount sold the Jason rights to New Line. And if you look at them, they sold the Jason rights to New Line, not the name Friday the 13th.
Right.
So, I mean, for that time period. So, I mean, it's like for people to think that. And that'll come around to that comment that I made before. You know, even if you're looking at the Expendables, the characters in the Expendables wasn't Rambo and Braddock and the Terminator. You know what I'm saying? Those weren't the people that were in it. You know, it wasn't Jason Statham's character from the Transporter. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't none of those. It was their characters in it. So for somebody to think that, you know, that it's going to be Jason and Candyman and all the rest of them, I mean, it's just, to me, it's just, I can't.
And that wouldn't even make any sense. How do you lock those people up in a prison anyway?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they did it in Cabin in the Woods.
Well, right. Well, that was actually going to be my next point, is if you want something that's like every monster ever, watch Cabin in the Woods, because that end scene contains pretty much all the famous monsters' B-movie cousins. Because they just can't. There's too many issues with copyrights. People just don't understand how this stuff works.
Yeah, and Cabin in the Woods, man, that movie didn't get the credit that it deserved. That movie was badass.
Oh, I love that movie, but that's a
so
conversation for another episode.
Yeah, so it just feels like the community at large is being super negative about it, and it's over the past year or two. It just seems like all communities in general are getting way more negative and way more whiny when things don't meet what they think they are. And like I told Jay earlier, I was like, this movie is like the horror version of No Man's Sky. It will never meet the hype.
No, it won't. But at the same time, I mean, it's like I'm such a huge Kane Hodder fan that I am going to see it. You know?
Oh yeah. We're all gonna watch it. We have to.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, like I said earlier, the trailer itself does not live up to the expectations, and not for the reasons that the community say. I agree with Jay. It's the way it looks. I mean, it looks like a movie that I own called Automaton Transfusion. You know, that's what it looks like.
I've noticed this as well, because me and Jerry are both in a couple different communities, video games, movies, so on and so forth. But it's what he's saying is completely accurate. People are they're negative for no reason other than to be negative. After I saw Don't Breathe, I posted in one of my movie groups about how it's as original as it can be for a horror movie today, and they're like, no, it's so stupid. Like, we've never seen a home invasion movie. I'm like, well, of course we have. Like, every basic plot to every movie has already been done. There's nothing original when it comes to basic plots. But the way it happens was still pretty original. The way it was shot was beautiful. There was like this one long unbroken shot as the people are exploring the house, and that was gorgeous. Like, I just don't understand why people have to just immediately be like, it didn't happen 20 years ago. It didn't come from the 80s. It's immediately shit. Like, nobody said that about Hatchet when Hatchet first came out. I think if Hatchet came out now, people would probably be like, this is stupid. It's just fucking ripping off Friday the 13th.
Savages in this town.
That's what made me love the first one. I didn't really care for the second and third Hatchet, but the fucking first one, that's what made me love it. Because it took me back to Friday the 13th.
I agree there. We just want, look, it's okay to be negative about some things as long as, like, what you're negative about is well justified. And for one thing, you need to see the actual product.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a movie
that negative, you can see a trailer and be like, I've got no interest in this. It looks bad. And that's fine. But to sit here and be like, this is shit. This is literally an elephant that got eaten by a rhino and then shit that out on top of another pile of shit that's that bad. And it's like, first of all, that's going way overboard. Second of all, your analogies are just way out there.
Yeah, if you want a movie that lives up to that amount of shit, go watch Frozen. And I'm not talking about the kids movie.
Oh, I was about to start.
Oh, is that the one where they're trapped on the chairlift?
Yeah.
Ugh, that was not good.
That movie was fucking terrible. That was a horrible movie. And I'm going to stop right there because I can spend 2 hours fucking complaining about that piece of shit.
So community horror fans, let's be a bit more positive about our people dying. So the next thing, they just announced The Crow will start filming in January, which coincidentally is when the Justice League finishes filming. Is Jason Momoa gonna be our dude?
No idea.
I don't think it's going to be good if he is. Nothing against him, because I think he's a great actor, but I do not think he's going to be good for that part.
Yeah. Shyamalan style twist. It's Ben Affleck.
Oh my god. Oh fuck. No. What are you like? Man. Next topic. So I
honestly think out of all the rumors of people that were going to play Eric Draven, do you know who I would have liked to have seen out of all the rumors?
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston?
Who was the dude that was in Dracula Untold?
Oh,
I don't
the dude
remember
who
his
looks
name.
like Orlando Bloom, but is not Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all saw that movie that he was in called No One Lives.
I have not. I did see Dracula Untold, but I haven't seen No One Lives.
Dude, the soonest chance you get, watch No One Lives. That movie was badass. But yeah, that dude, he was one of the rumored guys that was going to be in it, and I think he would have been cool as Eric Draven. I think he would have been cool.
I think Tom Hiddleston would have done a good job, and now him and Taylor Swift have apparently broken up, so now he doesn't have a nagging woman on him. But and Taylor Swift could write the music for the movie.
Oh my God, no.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay.
I'm gonna start weeping at that statement. I'm gonna weep at that statement. Oh my God, no.
And Jesus wept. So our last bit of news. There are people dressing up as a clown, which is nothing new. This has been happening for months, ever since the American Horror Story clown. But now they're stepping up a notch, and they're apparently trying to lure kids into the woods. Is this a prank? Are they sickos? Is this a publicity stunt for the new It movie coming out?
I'll be honest with you, dude. In today's world, I have no idea. Because I would not be surprised if some lunatic at this current moment, you know what I'm saying, just dressed up as a clown and decided to lure kids out. Because it's not only do you have that particular instance in it, you've got it in all kinds of other stuff too. Like there was an episode of Supernatural where there was a guy, whatever creature it was in the show, was as a clown, and he was luring kids out of their houses.
I remember that episode. That was early on.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you got it everywhere nowadays. And then there was this thing that went on. This guy was like either promoting a movie or making a movie or something like that up north. I think it was somewhere around like Ohio or something like that. And it was the same thing. There was like he was getting photos of a clown just randomly in this city and posting pictures online, and it turned out to be like an internet phenomenon, like the Slender Man when the Slender Man got started.
Yeah, I think if it is a prank, in the next month or so, we'll see like some YouTube video come out that goes viral of them doing this prank. If it happens to be a promotional tie-in for it, then I don't think we'll ever hear anything, because it would be genius to have a promotional tie-in for it doing this and just never saying anything about it. Just like never confirming, do it really quick, go away. Like that would be like marketing above marketing, and plus you really shouldn't say anything, because if you do, I think you might get, maybe not get in legal trouble, but definitely be frowned upon for the whole child aspect of it.
Yeah, I think people would kind of boycott the movie if they found out that was actually PR for the movie.
Yeah, it definitely Definitely
Now, if they
could be
were,
an issue.
luring teenagers or, adults or whatever, that'd be totally different. But, we ain't never going to see that happen. I mean, there ain't no telling what you'd have to have on the edge of the woods to lure an adult out there.
Free
Yeah.
Wi-Fi and that's
Speaking
about
of
it.
that, speaking of luring people into the woods, I saw this thing which I find it kind of funny that now there is a virus in the new batch of meth that is coming out. Have y'all seen that on the internet yet?
No.
I have not. I'm not up to date on the latest meth news.
I was scrolling through Facebook and there was actually a newsreel of them, media thing of, don't buy your meth because it's got some kind of virus in it. And dude, I couldn't help but crack up laughing.
See that's why I moved out of Florida.
Right?
Though funny enough, maybe related, a dead body was found at my old apartments complex in the woods, like right next to our apartments.
Was somebody playing Pokemon?
No, we don't. The police have not said anything yet. So I wait to see what happens with that. But I was like, oh, next to. Well, I'm glad I moved out of there.
You talking about where I come and hung out with you at?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. That was the news. That's all I have for you for news. So let's get into.
We'll get past the meth and dead bodies in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just say before we get into our next thing that those of you tuning in for contest details, those are coming a little bit later. So you are on the right episode. Don't turn us off.
Oh, cool.
Or yeah, I need you to turn me on. Okay. Today our movie is The Village, which came out in 2004. It is by M. Night Shyamalan. Because I don't pronounce his name like that as a joke. I literally have never been able to pronounce his name, so I just call him Shyamalan.
Yeah, Shyamalan.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
So, this movie
We'll just call him M. Night, kind of like Suge Knight, but M. Night.
M. Night, I'm down with that. So, this movie had a budget of $60 million, and it grossed $256.7 million worldwide. It currently has a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which, funny enough, Wikipedia calls it a psychological horror, while IMDb calls it a drama romance thriller. In case you want to get romantic about it.
All right.
So, do y'all want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can start.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So, I haven't watched this movie in 10 plus years. Like, I watched it in 2006 when it came out on DVD. I notoriously hated it. It was number one on my list of worst movies of all time, which I wasn't alone. I found out Robert Ebert hated it. I did not know that him and I would ever agree on a horror movie, because that sounds like something a horror fan would never do, but he hated this fucking movie. So,
I never pay attention to what he says about movies, so I didn't know that either.
I'd pay attention to movies, like, if it's a drama that he talks about, but not a horror movie, because a critic reviewing a horror movie, like, the big famous quote from, the Cinema Snob is something along the lines of, you can't judge Friday the 13th like you would Citizen Kane.
Well, I just don't listen to critics ever because we never agree on anything.
Yeah, I don't either. I'd never listen to critics.
Well, then obviously y'all never watched The Critic on Comedy Central back in the day.
I agree with him. It sucks.
So, I did not like this movie when I first watched it, and now that I've rewatched it, I gotta say, there's actually some things in this movie that were good, but it doesn't save this movie. This movie still fucking sucks. But now I know why I don't like it, which is the big thing. This movie does not know what it wants to be. It's trying to be a horror movie while trying to be a timepiece drama, and it doesn't commit to either one 100%, and that's what hurts it. Watching this movie, I'm sitting the whole time being like, if they would have focused more on the people, the elders, lying about the monsters to keep everyone safe and done more of a backstory on there, and then focused on the romance a bit more, this would have been like a really good drama. It's super well acted. The script is pretty decent, even though I do feel like the whole movie is really stiff, where it's like it just doesn't have enough of either way to really push you to being like, holy shit, that was amazing, except for one scene. The scene where Lucius and Ivy are on the porch and they like kind of confess their love for each other. That scene was probably the only scene in the movie where I was like, the acting was phenomenal. All the other acting, while really good, is really stiff. So I feel like this movie either should have tried to be a drama period piece or try to be a horror, because like the costumes for the monsters are fantastic. And I think about it and I'm like, if they would have made like the monsters actually real, set this back in like the 1800s or something like that, and like turn this into like a creature feature monster slasher movie, it would have been awesome. But because it can't decide which way it goes, the whole time it leaves me wishing for something better. Much like The Witch, this just fails to reach the points that it could definitely reach if it could just choose what it wanted to be and be that.
With me, I mean, I kind of agree with you a little bit, but you know me, I love this movie. I thought it was a great movie.
Well,
but the only thing that I don't really like about it that I can agree with you on is they tried to shove too much shit in one little small box. I mean, because you got a lot going on in there. You know, like you said, you got the backstory of the elders, you got the backstory of the fear of the monsters, you got where they came from, you've got the blind girl, you've got, you know, the slow guy, which is played by Adrien Brody, which I think Adrien Brody's a great actor, and he was in this too. You know what I'm saying? So you got all this stuff going on. So that's the one thing that I can agree with you on, is that it really doesn't know what it wants to be.
So, Jay, those are my first thoughts. Jay, what are your first thoughts?
So this is the first time I've ever watched this movie. When it first came out, the ending and twist was completely ruined for me by so many people that I just never gave a shit until I had to watch it for the podcast. I thought the cast was amazing. As the opening credits were scrolling, I was like, am I watching the wrong movie?
How did they get Sigourney Weaver in this?
I had no idea that many people were in it. I thought the beginning did a really good job of world building with very little exposition. Like, there wasn't narration, there wasn't huge scrolling text at the beginning. That, like, they did a few scenes, and you knew that this was a town. You knew that they were afraid of something in the woods, and that's all you really need to know right at the start. I thought that them not showing the monster like up front right away was really nice. It was a good way to build tension. I didn't really care for any of the characters other than Lucius, Ivy, and then I really liked Noah. It gets really slow at some points. I actually felt like it could be like a half hour shorter. Like if they had increased the events that happened in the woods and got to that sooner, I think that would have been a little bit more entertaining. Personally, I thought the music was really good, and I still think M. Night's a good director. I just think his writing is hit or miss. Like his angles and the way he shoots his movies is still really good, even if the movie itself sucks. I think his writing is way more hit or miss than it should be.
So, let's talk about the really big criticism that this movie gets, which and this probably has to do with his writing, but M. Night gets this a lot, that his movies are so self-contained that as soon as you bring like any kind of outside logic to it, it really starts to fall apart. And this movie definitely has that, where there's a lot of it that doesn't make sense. One of the big things being, if you didn't know the twist in this movie by now, I'm sorry, but we're gonna tell you. It's an old-timey town that's existing in a national park that is hiding out from the real world in current time, aka 2004 or whatever. And
well, to be fair, it's actually a private animal quote unquote reserve.
Yeah.
It's not a national park. It's owned privately by Walker's Corporation, whatever that is.
Yeah, because Walker's dad died, and he got so much money that he was able to not only buy this place, but to make it a no-fly zone. He paid off the government to make it a no-fly zone. How much money do you have to make that happen?
A couple $1 billion.
Like, that's...
Like Bill Gates money.
Like, that's ridiculous. And that's actually... one of my biggest complaints about this movie was, how did they make it a no-fly zone? That makes no sense. And I guess I didn't remember the part where M. Night in his cameo actually talks about how a couple of years ago they turned it into a no-flight zone, which just made me go, well, most of these kids have grown up here. So if they just made it a no-flight zone a few years ago, does that mean at some point they actually did see airplanes up there? And then Walker was like, oh, shit, let me go throw some money at this.
Maybe.
Well, the crazy thing about it is if you, a lot of the things that they talk about, if you pay attention to, like, when the elders are talking to the younger kids, there are modern things that they bring up. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guns, things like that. There are things that small little modern things that they bring up.
Well, I think there were,
when they're talking about the towns, but it's like it's little shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like TVs or any of that.
Weren't I thought the 1800s had guns.
Oh, they did, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's just like, there was other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have wrote it down in my notes, and I didn't even think about it. But there was other little shit that I picked up on when they were talking to them.
Yeah, the biggest clue to me that this was not in the 1800s is when they kept talking about, oh, there's medicine at the towns, and I've got to go to these towns. And, like, at first it's whatever, but the more they bring it up, the more suspicious it sounds. And, like, when I first watched this movie, I guessed the twist, because I actually did not know, because no one had told me. I guessed the twist right before the reveal, like, literally right before the reveal.
So, like, as she's walking through the woods, or when she gets to the wall?
No, as she's walking into the woods, because then while she's in the woods, she has the flashback to what was in the storage shed that they're not supposed to go to. So she wouldn't be afraid of the roaming pack of Lord Voldemorts that are apparently in these woods. So, like, this movie still, while I see the acting as fantastic, I just wish better for this movie. I wish it would have gone, like, I want to separate this movie and make the two proper versions of this movie. Much like The Witch, except this one can't be done with simple editing tricks. These would have to be completely remade. But there is just, and there's just two really, there's like a really good, like, beautiful story that could be told as a period drama piece, and then there's a really entertaining horror movie in here, and it just cannot reach those strides because it wants to be both, and it just cannot. It just absolutely cannot. M. Night Shyamalan did a good job directing it. Like, it looks beautiful, but part of directing it is writing it for him, and Jay's right. His writing was just really, really off.
Well, see, I think the reason why I like this movie so much is because the twist at the end of it, I think that at some point in time as an adult, especially with what's going on now politically and the way things are going on in the world, there comes a point where I think everybody gets tired of the bullshit that they see in the world, and they think to themselves, man, I would love to just fucking move out in the middle of nowhere and not have to deal with this crap no more. At some point, even if it's only that thought for a split second, or if it's a person like me where, Jay doesn't know, but Jerry does, I'm very reclusive, so I really don't like dealing with people anyway. And so, you know what I'm saying? I think Shyamalan had a great idea with what he was going with this. You know what I'm saying? Because, for each one of those of the elders to go through the traumatic experiences that they did, and decide to themselves, hey, I don't want nothing else to do with this world, this modern world that's so shitty. Let's go try to do something different. I really, really think that was a great idea. And then, going into the fear tactic that they use to keep everybody there, you can look at that from either direction. You can look at it as, okay, well, the level of fear and what you'll do when you're that afraid and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you can look at that whole community kind of like a prison that has got them encased into this area based on fear, which is kind of fucked up on its end. So, I mean, there was just a lot of different things that I looked at from that point of view of what it would be like to be a person that was so fed up with bullshit to want to do what these people did.
It's interesting that you bring up how like unique of an idea and how like relatable this idea is. In fact,
I didn't say unique. I just said that, I could definitely feel where he was going with it, with what he was trying to convey.
Okay,
but
the thing is there's actually claims of plagiarism against this movie.
With what? With which one?
The whole story.
No, I'm not saying with plagiarism against what.
I was going to go into that.
Sorry.
So the whole idea for this movie is super similar to a book that was published in 1995 called Running Out of Time by Margaret Haddix. In the book, there are people that are living like it's 1836 while it's actually 1996. It is a village inside of a park where a young heroine is searching for medicine, and the adult leaders are trying to keep the children from learning the truth of their town. The biggest difference here is why they're kept there. In this book, it's actually a genetic experiment. No lawsuit was ever made, even though the author did threaten it. M. Night claimed that the claims were meritless, which I have to disagree with. It sounds like because I always feel like while researching something, you would come across this, much like the Hunger Games.
And Battle Royale.
Yeah, the whole premise of it is pretty much Battle Royale.
Well, she was like, I'd never even heard of that book.
Which, I'm like, I think maybe true, but the thing is while you're researching stuff, when I named my YouTube channel, when we came up with the name for this podcast, we Googled stuff multiple times, checked multiple sites to make sure this stuff wasn't done. Whenever I named Kill the Trailer, I checked to make sure no one was doing that. When I started my Get Good series, I checked to see if no one was doing that. And you research this kind of stuff, and I find it kind of hard to believe that M. Night didn't run into this kind of book that was that was barely 10 years old.
That's fair.
So that kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't see it, even though I really don't want to.
Well, either way, I mean, looking at it from either way, going back to what I was saying, looking at it from, M. Night's fucking standpoint or the lady that wrote that book's standpoint, either way, the idea behind that to me, is I can relate to it.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's a great idea. Like I said, there is a great drama period piece in this movie and a great horror movie that could be made out of this movie. There's 2 movies that could be made out of this movie. That's how good the idea is. But
now, another thing that I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, and this is getting past the idea of it, is the character of Noah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, I was thinking about it when I was watching it last night. The character of Noah, man, I mean, for him to be, mentally impaired, I got to thinking about it. I was like, did any of these killer instincts kick in, at a much younger age, or was this a thing that was, the only reason why he had this killer instinct inside of him was based on, the stressor of the girl falling in love with Lucius? Was it, you know what I'm saying? Was it one of those things where, I mean, was just that he didn't know that killing was... I mean,
I'd tell you what.
I got real deep into that character last night.
Noah stabbing Lucius was a better twist than them being in the present.
I hear you.
I didn't see that coming. I was like, holy shit, he's dead now. Well, almost dead. Mostly dead.
I don't know that it was a killer instinct, though, as much of a crime of passion. I don't think his brain doesn't comprehend what's going on. Like, they mentioned earlier with him hitting people. And Ivy having to tell him not to hit people. But he understood. All right, hold on. I got to stop both of y'all. Y'all are talking over each other. Jay, finish your statement.
Yeah, stop. I
feel like he just figures that him and Ivy spend a lot of time together. He saw that time changing with the introduction of Lucius getting interested in her. And then his brain just says, if they get married, my time goes away. How do I fix this problem? Remove Lucius from the situation.
Okay, fair enough. Kenneth, go ahead.
The cattle. Did the cattle happen before or after? When he's because there was never the only time that it comes up of what happened to the cattle with the cattle being skinned. The only time that ever really comes up is when the mother goes in there and she sees, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, is when she goes in there and she sees that Noah has took the suit out of the floorboards, and
you are mistaken.
Okay.
They clarify when the father is explaining to Ivy why they do all this. She specifically asks about the cattle being skinned, the foxes being skinned, the pigs being skinned, and he goes, "It's one of the members, but I don't know who." And
they rotate without knowing, so that none of them can, kind of like how if you have multiple executions pulling the lever.
Now, there is a possibility that it still was Noah, because, I mean, there are times where Noah is not around anyone, which is shown when he reveals that he got these berries, so he's been going out further in the woods and has gotten them. So there are times for him to be alone, but on the day of the wedding where you have tons of these going around, I don't think it would have been possible for him to do it that day, because he got bathed and he got dressed and he was with his parents the day, so I don't think it was him. I think the only reason, I think it's pure coincidence that makes us think it's him, just because, he found the suit. Well, he was just trying to get out of the room. He just wanted out of that room to try to fix this problem he can't comprehend, and he just lucked up on finding the suit and then going out the window, which obviously we would go, why didn't you just go out the window in the first place? Or no, he didn't go out a window. They didn't really show how he got out, did they?
I imagine he either went out the window or went under the floorboards. Okay, would be my guess. I mean, that one's... But either way, he had a way to get out.
Right. And but I will say this, that Adrien Brody in that, because I think he's a phenomenal actor anyway, but that one spot where he's sitting in the chair right after he stabbed Lucius, and his mom comes out there and he's looking at her and he sticks his hand out and he's like the bad color and he starts crying.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So, did you know this movie originally had an R rating? Does anyone want to guess what the one thing they cut out to make this movie go to PG-13?
Sex.
Incorrect.
The word fuck.
Incorrect.
I'm out of ideas.
Kenneth, you got any idea?
Gut?
No. The sound of the stabbing. That's it.
What?
They cut out the sound of the stabbing, because originally when he stabbed him, you heard the sound of getting stabbed in the guts, the skin being pierced.
Oh, so that's the reason why when he turns around and he looks, it gets so quiet.
Yes, because they took that out to get a PG-13 rating, because that was the one thing that the board was like, we're giving you our rating for this specific scene, and once they removed and they said it's because of the sound, once they removed the sound, they got their PG-13 rating.
I fucking hate the ratings board.
Yeah. So, did anyone at any time in this movie actually feel any fear, scared even a little bit, like a little bit of hair raising on your neck or arm?
I'd say there's at least a little bit of tension. Like I said, I was more interested in those three characters, Lucius, Ivy, and Noah, than I was anything else really going on. Um, like you said, Jerry, I'd probably be okay knowing more about how the village came to be and a little bit more logistics behind it
That would be
than
it.
the stuff that was going on in the middle of the movie.
If they would have done this as a drama, like they could have done a really awesome prequel of them like having all those deaths happen in the city, coming together, and then going and forming this place. Like I would watch a drama about that.
Me too. That'd be good. That'd be a good TV show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it now and then claim I've never seen The Village or read the read the book.
There you go. Kenneth, did you at any point feel any kind of fear or scared in this movie?
Yeah, I really wouldn't call it fear. I'd call it more of an anxiety, anxiousness, and it was just in that spot when Ivy was in the woods and Noah in the suit, because the whole time I didn't think it was. I never really thought it was a real creature.
Oh yeah, neither did I.
But for some reason, in the back of my head, I'm just like, something bad is fixing to happen to Noah, and because I just, at that point, you know that it's him. So it was like I was just like, I felt bad for the guy. I really did, because having to deal with everything that he dealt with, you know what I'm saying? Being in love with this chick, she's killing her love interest, getting beat in the face, locked in a room, all this stuff that the poor kid had to deal with, and then on top of that, falling into a hole, and then the shot where they come up right after he died, to me that reminded me of an old turn of between medieval times and Renaissance kind of painting. That's it. I really like that shot.
Yeah, that was a really good shot.
The monster costume looked amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I was really happy with that.
It was like a nightmare version of Bebop from Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I never thought about it, but yeah.
So why I bring this up, because Sigourney Weaver claims that she had nightmares for 2 weeks after reading this script. And the only thing I can think of is apparently she forgot that she was an alien, which was a much more terrifying movie.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was just really weird.
Well, see, I've never really been able to get on the bandwagon of people that are reading something and having nightmares, because, so I find it difficult to kind of, relate to that anyway, because when I'm reading a book or something like that, there are suspenseful times in books and whatnot. But for the most part, I don't ever get that from reading a book, that extreme visceral experience that I get from watching a movie. So I just, and then reading this particular movie, there was never a point in time where I felt like, the movie was that scary. It was more interesting to watch to me than it being scary.
When I was younger, I used to read a lot of UFO stories and alien stories and conspiracy stories about UFOs and aliens, and I used to actually get nightmares off that stuff. I wouldn't get really many nightmares off reading like Salem's Lot or anything, but UFOs and aliens, like reading those true stories, quote unquote, used to actually give me nightmares and freak me out. So I can see how this definitely happens to someone, why it wouldn't happen to everyone, but I don't think there was anything scary enough in this script for that to happen. There is a chance that did y'all know this script actually got leaked a year before filming started?
Oh really?
Yes, the ending is actually changed. I didn't look up what the original ending was. I guess I could have, but I didn't, because I'm lazy like Jay, who doesn't look up his movie
I
books.
forgot. I'm gonna
So maybe there was something in the original that was scarier, but according to sources, the only thing that was actually changed was the ending. So, but you want to hear something actually scary about this movie? Guess who was originally supposed to play Noah?
Who's that?
Ashton Kutcher.
He's a good actor when he's given a chance.
It depends on what it is. I don't think he would be good at this particular, because I've seen Ashton Kutcher in a lot of different roles, and I just don't think he would be good in this one.
Now I'm about to really stump Kenneth. Guess who who was supposed to play Ivy?
Who's that?
Kristen Dunst.
Oh, I'm Googling the original ending
Kirsten
right now to
Dunst.
see if I
Sorry,
can find it.
Kirsten
And
Dunst.
it says that someone from Ashton Kutcher or Kristen Dunst's like camps may have actually leaked the.
Yeah, both of them are saying that they didn't do the film because of scheduling conflicts. But originally, this movie was going to be way worse because I think the casting in this movie is fucking spot on. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and there's other actors in there, man, that we see uh, in a lot more stuff now. Like, I don't know if either one of y'all noticed when you're watching the movie, because I didn't look it up on IMDb, but Jesse Eisenberg's in this movie.
Yeah, for a quick second, I thought that was him too.
Yep, that's
He
him.
runs in there like she's back and she has medicine.
Yeah, he was. There was another spot where he was in it too. When I noticed it was him, and it was earlier on. But still, I mean, it's for that to be in there, and then all the rest of the all stars that are in this.
yeah, it's definitely a super well acted movie. But did anyone else feel like maybe it's me because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fans, but like the opening, well, not the opening, right after the super depressed funeral lunch, when they actually have the first person on the watch. I was watching it, I was like, this is like the Amish version of the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones.
You talking about when them guys are on that really big wall?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's about as far as I got into Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was the first time I saw that dude over there.
One of my favorite lines in this movie is when the chick the older sister to Ivy, I can't remember her name, goes to confess her love to Lucius, and she just bouncy in there and like she's like, "Good afternoon, Lucius." And the first thing that popped in my head was her after that saying, "I am the devil." Like, just picture bouncy bright her going, "Good afternoon, Lucius. I am the devil." I don't know why. That just
at
cracks
that
me up.
current moment, if I was that dude in there, that'd probably be what I was thinking. Because I was like, the whole time I was watching that, I had completely forgot about that. And the whole time I'm watching that, I'm just like, I would be doing the same thing that he would be doing. I'd just be kind of sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
For real.
And then her screaming fit right after that was just, I was laughing so hard.
I wonder what aura color she has. I still wonder what aura color he has, but it's not ladylike to talk about such things.
I actually thought that was kind of cool. You know, when she talks about being able to see auras, I thought that was kind of cool.
I just wanted to know what fucking 1800s drug she was on.
So I don't know how accurate this is, so take this with a grain of salt. But it says in the original story, the village did start in the 1800s, and they just hid themselves away forever and invented the story of the monsters to keep people out. Then at the end of the movie, in the middle of the movie, the monsters show up and make the red marks on the doors. But at the end of the movie, you find out the red marks were made by construction crews who were like bulldozing that land, and all the monster noises they heard were giant machinery.
Oh, that
would have been a completely different movie.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would feel about
that. But
that.
Again, that's a random website from Google. There's nothing. It's nothing official, so that could be wrong. It could be just somebody making stuff up. It's not. I'm not having an easy time finding this.
Yeah, the village and Fern Gully mixed together. That's exactly what that sounds like, does it not?
You're 100% right on that.
Because the big Tim Curry monster was, the pollution coming out of the machine in Fern Gully, and then the red marks on the trees, before they cut the trees down.
Wow. So okay, I wanna do something. I wanna do two things that we have not done that I would like to start doing. One, I want to rate this movie 1 out of 10. What do y'all think? Kenneth, you love the movie. You'll probably give it its highest rating. 1 out of 10, what do you give this movie? 10 being The Jaws, The Exorcist of horror. 1 being my home porn movies.
Okay, so when it really comes down to it, all right, I do not, even though I love this movie, I do not put it up at Exorcist status. So we can just take that out because, to me, The Exorcist is the most phenomenal fucking horror movie ever. So we're going to take it out of that category. Now, I thought the locations were great. I thought that the acting was awesome. my little tidbits in there of things that I enjoyed that was outside the realm of the story make it a little bit different for me. So I would probably have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's probably where I would put it at, maybe at an 8, depending on if I sat there and watched it again and found other things that I liked about it.
Had you given it a 10 out of 10, I would have kicked you off the podcast.
No, it wasn't going to get a 10 out of 10. I mean, for me to give a movie a 10 out of 10, it's difficult.
Okay, Jay?
I'd probably give it a solid 4. It was okay. I don't know if I would have felt differently if I didn't know the ending going in. I really hate that was ruined for me and that I didn't get to experience that because I don't know. I might have felt differently, but I feel like after you know the ending and everything that happens, it's one of those movies that you just don't want to watch again. You know what I mean? So for me, I'd have to give it a solid 4. Like I said, the shots were really good. The acting was for the most part really good, and the score is really good, but it just it kind of fell short for me.
Wow, I thought you were gonna give it like a 6 or a 5. So I'm kind of surprised by that. I give it a 3. It gets a 3 for me just because the acting is phenomenal, and the potential to make 2 really good movies is there, and it's just sad that will be forever lost unless they do a remake of this movie. They could do a remake of this movie and go either period piece drama or horror and actually make this a good movie. The acting quality probably won't be as good because you're not going to get a lot of these people back. Hell, the 2 sisters are still playing sisters, just in Jurassic World now.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's true.
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about that. You're right.
Well, yeah. I recognized Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I recognized her, but I didn't put it together that the older sister was also the mom from that movie.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
Well, no. Bryce is the mom.
No, Bryce is the aunt who runs Jurassic Park, and the mom is her older sister.
From the shit, you're right. I'm confusing actresses' names. Fair enough. But yeah, I have to give it a 3. I won't give it a 1. It's not as if like there weren't redeemable things. Like I said, that porch scene was just written phenomenally, acted amazing, and shot decent.
And that's one of those things that we haven't given any credit to Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't think he needs credit if he's on. I have never seen him do bad, and like he survived a cult. He doesn't need my opinion.
When it comes to Joaquin Phoenix, the only thing that I can say about him is he is a phenomenal actor, but to me, he's one of those people that is pretty much the same guy in just about everything he's in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like him in this movie and him in Signs and then him in Gladiator are... Well, actually, now that you say it...
But he was Johnny Cash, so
yeah, that's the
he walks
only
that
one.
Line.
Yeah, that's the only
Fuck
movie...
You,
that's the only movie where I feel like he was a little bit further out of the box of Joaquin Phoenix. But it's the same thing with Nicolas Cage, man. Nicolas Cage is great. But he's the same guy in every fucking movie that he's
in. He is now. He used to actually act. Now he's definitely the same guy, and he literally just takes any job, anybody. He's like, you're going to play a time-traveling, disembodied ass who fights Hitler. I'm in.
Yeah, and I'm gonna scream and yell and shit like that in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying?
I would never. I don't think I would ever call Nicolas Cage great. I think he's good. I think he's decent. I don't think he's great at all.
I grew up with him too. I love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, show me the doll where Nicolas Cage touched you.
I'll show you on my body if you want to see it, sweetheart.
Shit. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, and I'm surprised we've never done this before. Our show is called Kill the Cast. Who in this cast did you want to kill? I know that's a tough one, isn't it? It really is. Like,
I got it.
Okay.
M. Night for putting himself in all his damn movies.
I find that so amusing that he does it.
Hey,
he's not a good actor, and they're not short cameos. Let's get rid of him.
This one was pretty short. I'll give him that.
Well, he hit his face pretty well, but he made sure that you saw it in that fucking reflection. He's like, "You're gonna know it's me."
I know who mine is.
Okay, who?
The kid that was in the fucking watchtower that goddamn left her ass in the fucking woods.
I gotta go.
Like,
We're gonna get in trouble. Bye.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's just like, you're fucking blind and goddamn, but I'm just gonna dip. You'll be all right. They'll take pity on you because you're blind. I'm gonna take off.
Yeah, like the whole time I'm like, she's getting medicine for like someone earlier in the movie that you called a very good friend who stayed up there with you while you were scared and you couldn't find the fucking courage to do this.
Yeah,
Suck a
exactly.
dick.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I would not have been mad at all if he'd have just slipped right off that watchtower.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I would want to kill the color yellow because one, like, I was right. It was the color yellow. Kenneth told me that,
and I actually wrote that down in my notes that I should take the time to give you credit for that. But what I was thinking about was the bad color. The good color is yellow. The bad color is red.
Yeah, because I always talked about wrapping myself in the yellow color, and so. But in all seriousness, when Walker is telling them that he's like, I'm gonna let my blind child go do this. There's that one lady who's like, you're putting us all in jeopardy, and I was like, I want to put your fucking head in jeopardy right now. You fucking selfish, heartless wench. So I don't know who she is, but she just pissed me off, and that's who I wanted to kill. So, okay, final thoughts on this movie. I'll go ahead and do mine real quick. Like I said, this movie has the potential to be a great thing. It's just a missed opportunity because it could not focus on what it wanted to be focused on. And the sad part is that at the time, M. Night Shyamalan was on fire in Hollywood. This was before he disgraced his name with bad, fucking terrible movies. And he could have actually stuck to his guns. Well, it probably wasn't his guns. I don't think he would have had the idea to actually stick to one of these genres. I think he felt that he could bend these genres because he's so good with twist. And I feel like his ego failed him for this movie and what this movie could have been. Because this movie as a actual serious period piece drama would have been fantastic with that cast. And as a slasher movie would have just been pure entertainment that we probably would not be talking about normally, but every once in a while someone would bring up, dude, you remember The Village? Oh, dude, those porcupine monsters fucked homeboy up. Like the potential for what could be there just makes me really sad for us as film fans and horror fans. Bravo to Adrien Brody for playing Noah. I'm sure you had to watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape like 20 times in a row to like be like, that's how it's done, because it's very hard to play a mentally handicapped person, and he did a wonderful job. Rain Man would applaud you. Other than that, all the acting was great. The story was actually written very well. The 2 weeks of 1800s boot camp that the director apparently made them go through did really, really well for them. And it's just, all in all, this movie makes me sad. And that was, I never felt scared in this movie. I never felt anxious, but I did feel sad. There are really sad moments in this movie that if you open yourself up to it and you feel the grief that Ivy feels, it is just the saddest thing it's sadder than Sigourney Weaver knowing she can't bang Walker, which she didn't want to bang him for his money because he apparently bought the government. So that's my final thoughts of this movie. Should you watch it? Yes, but only to see what could have been. So we'll go with Jay and then we'll go with Kenneth because I'm going to go in ascending order of ratings. So Jay, go.
I don't have as detailed final thoughts as you. It's just kind of what I've already said. To recap, it was decent. I wouldn't own it. I probably am never going to watch it again. The score was good. Those three characters that I mentioned, Lucius, Ivy, and Noah, are definitely the highlight of the movie for me. Practical effects of the monster were good. Besides that, that's pretty much all I've got to say.
All right, Kenneth.
I'm a little bit different. I liked it a little more, but I think the reason that I liked it more than you guys is because I picked apart every single thing and found reasons to like it, and I spent a lot of time, especially with the Noah character, trying to, I don't know why I managed to immerse myself in this character as much as I did, but for some reason I did, and it was just one of those things that it really hit home with me, and even if it is a ripoff of that book, like you suggested, the idea behind it to me was very relatable. So. That was where I was at, and I thought it was a decent movie, and I enjoyed it. But I can see you guys' points.
Okay, so I think we all agree Adrien Brody is the star of this film.
Yeah.
I love Adrien Brody. I cannot tell you how many times that I have jacked off to his gay porn scenes in Summer of Sam.
There's to me, there's not been a movie yet that I have seen with him in it that I did not like.
Or I did not at least like his performance.
Yeah, like the first time that I watched The Pianist, I was blown away by that movie.
What?
And then the
lots of oh wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
and then you take The Experiment and then The Jacket, both of those movies. Oh my god!
Oh, I fucking loved The Jacket, man. That was pretty original.
He's great.
Yeah, his worst movie is probably Predators.
I love.
No.
Predators. What?
No.
What's worse than that?
I'd rather watch Predator than Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh, you're right. He was in Peter Jackson's King Kong. See, sorry, I ignored that. That movie doesn't exist to me. Because I love the original King Kong. And I hated that in this movie they were like, we're going to make King Kong more animalistic, but he's still going to ice skate with a bitch. Fuck you.
Well, what monkey doesn't like to ice skate? Now you're just being nitpicky, okay?
Yeah, well, why did fucking Harambe have to die when it could have been fucking everyone in the fucking Peter Jackson King Kong?
Hashtag dicks out!
So...
Did y'all watch Houdini, where Adrien Brody was playing Houdini?
No,
but I
really
watched that
want
yet.
to.
It's fucking awesome. It is on my Vudu if y'all want the password to watch it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get on that. So the other thing I'd say with the ending of this movie, okay, do y'all think that if Lucius survives and Ivy tells him everything that happened and what's going on, do you think he keeps the lie alive and they continue this Little House on the Prairie? Or is he too honorable? Is he Ned Stark honorable and just will not stand for it? Thoughts?
I'm not sure. I don't think Ivy, because she's blind, I don't think she fully grasped what was going on. Like, I know that her dad explained it to her, but I honestly don't think she fully grasps what's going on.
Okay, fair enough. She was not only... I don't think blindness is the reason for that. I'd say more of, like, the state of mourning and shock she was in over, like, not only is her love, like, dying, but, like, what you would consider to be, like, one of her best friends, who she probably feels is, like, a little brother to her, is responsible.
Yeah, maybe.
So, Kenneth, what do you think he would do?
I think that at this point, when she finds out and she comes back, I think that at this point, the seed has already been planted for the plot of the movie that, when the elders die, somebody was going to have to know. Because if they would have had to have told them so somebody could carry on the illusion of what this was. And
well, remember, he said to the other elders as she was leaving that Lucius and her were the future of
that's what I'm saying.
The village.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I think. That's what I think it was going. Is that this just turned out to be a perfect opportunity for that particular elder, and the rest of the elders to say, "Well, we were going to have to tell somebody sometime so they could carry this on. So this just happened to be a great opportunity to do it."
Okay, what I got one last interesting question for you. I mentioned earlier how I would love to see a prequel to this movie that digs into them creating this. What would you rather see? The prequel that shows them creating it, or the sequel that shows Ivy and Lucius continuing it and a similar situation, something along that happening to pass it on to the next generation? Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably like to see how the village got started more than anything.
Okay,
I'm kind of interested in that. You can kind of leave whether they carry on the village up to discussion and your imagination afterwards. Okay. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick the prequel to see.
Gotcha. Kenneth, which would you prefer to see?
I'd prefer to see the sequel. And the reason why I prefer to see the sequel is because, I know the story of how it got together. So, basically in a nutshell, the only thing I'm going to be doing is, in my opinion, is I'm going to be watching some people die, some people get pissed off, and then they move out into the middle of fucking nowhere and goddamn, build a town. Versus I can see in the sequel, I can see the dynamic of where we all three of us know that there's going to be some form of inner turmoil between in Ivy and in Lucius, in both of them trying to decide whether, they're going to carry on this lie or whether they're going to go further and go into the outside world and whatever. And then I imagine that them trying to figure it out. If you were going to make a really good movie, you would not only put that turmoil in there, but you would also put the rifts in their relationship in there as well.
You've made a very convincing case, but I have one rebuttal to you.
What's that?
In the prequel, you get to see a full CGI child version of Adrien Brody as Noah, as a kid.
You talking about like Benjamin Button?
Yeah, you get a full CGI Adrien Brody as Noah as a kid growing up. Does that convince you to move to the prequel side?
And the only reason why it would is because of how engulfed I got into whether, because I would really like to know whether this guy, even though he was mentally impaired, still had serial killer type tendencies as a child.
I don't think so, because, and this may be diving too deep, because maybe sometimes I think, like, as fans, we dive deeper than the writers planned ahead to. They write the surface story, and then everyone's like, well, in real life, when you light a grenade on fire, the explosion fires outward in a 45 So I think I may be digging a little too deep. But in sociopathic and psychopathic people, they don't really have emotions. He showed remorse even as he was killing him. He was sad about it. He showed love and care towards Ivy, and happiness and sadness. So I honestly just think it's him not comprehending how the real world works and why you're not allowed to end somebody's life.
And I can see that. I really can. And that's the reason why I'm curious about it, because even though and I completely, know all the stuff that goes around psychopaths and sociopaths, but at the same time you have that anomaly here and there where a person with those kind of impairments does attach themselves to another person, and so I it's just one of them things where I would really like, in a realistic world, I would really like to see the dynamic of this type of person growing up. I really would, because I it's one of those things where we could sit here and we could have a conversation about it for hours.
This has to be one of the most like in-depth podcasts we've ever done, because man, just listening to the two conversations that just happened between you two based off the questions I threw, I am now like seriously like maybe I should rewatch this movie one more time and see if y'all are just smart enough to make this movie better when talking about it, or maybe I missed something. But
I mean, and that's exactly what I was saying in my final thoughts. Those were things that when I was watching the movie, that made me like it more is because I picked it apart to that level.
So if, like I said, how I felt like this movie is there's two really good movies out of this. So it sounds like y'all both would rather see like a traditional period drama piece involving these characters, and dropping the horror way down. Still have the fake monsters and all that, but drop that way down and focus on the actual drama of it. Like that's where this movie could shine so well. And after hearing us talk about it, it just makes me hurt even more that I don't have that.
I can see that from your standpoint. I can see that.
So, last question I have, and this is specifically for you, Kenneth. Do you feel, because you've heard me rant about this movie for 10 plus years, do you feel that I went into this movie with an open mind and gave it a fair chance?
Yes. In comparison to how you used to talk about the movie, yes. I thoroughly believe that you went in it with a new set of eyes, because the way you used to talk about it was completely 100% condescending. It was a fucking piece of garbage.
Here's how I sounded 8-9 years ago. Kenneth, you're fucking stupid. This movie
right, exactly.
is the worst piece of fucking trash I have ever seen. You think Michael Caine's fucking shirt getting dry in Jaws 4 is a fucking terrible blight against this world? This movie is so fucking incompetent that it couldn't fucking hold its wits against Noah on a fucking SAT. This movie is fucking hot garbage steaming in a fucking Florida swamp. It would fucking make people stop doing fucking meth in Florida. That's how fucking terrible this movie is. Fuck you, Kenneth.
Yeah, exactly.
Christ.
Yeah, that's
got
exactly
a lot of unmanageable rage there, buddy.
Jay, you should have been around for us back in the day, dude.
We used to have friends tell us that we needed to record our conversations, because of, like, once we'd start going, we would go for hours, just nonstop.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
well, now we are recording your conversations,
dude.
Yeah.
This is nothing in comparison to what we used to do. But the thing about it is you know, that's the reason why I can say you looked at it with new set of eyes, because I remember how extreme you were about how you didn't like this movie. But as you say that, it makes me think about myself as the type of person I was when it first came out and I watched it, which was, you know, 12 years ago. So, you know what I'm saying? Looking at my mental state for 12 years ago and breaking it apart as much as I did then. You know? I mean, that was like, what, when I was 21?
Yeah, something like that. It was a long time ago.
So, yeah, to be 21 years old, man, and picking apart this movie at that level then, you know, that's just the way I look at it. And I've always thought this movie was great.
Fair enough. I'm trying to find the post I made where I talked like super negative about The Village, because I want to give a shout out to that one guy who was like, "You don't sound." Oh, here it is. I want to give a shout out to this guy, Travis Cole. I want to give you a shout out because you were like, "That doesn't sound like an open mind." I actually don't know who you are, but
he's pretty active on our page, actually. So props to you, sir, for being an active fan.
So
yeah,
I just want to say,
a lot.
I hope, please comment on our Facebook, and if you listen to this, and I hope you do, I want you to also answer this question: do you feel like I came to this movie with an open mind? Let me know, because I honestly want to know what you think, Travis Cole.
I wonder if we can tag him in this. I'll try and tag him when we post it to Facebook and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll at least tag him in the comments. Okay, that's The Village. That was our thoughts. That was way more in depth than what we normally do, and we do. I don't think we planned to go that in depth, but we did. But we're gonna end on a lighter note here, and I had this great idea, and I told Jay and Kenneth, and I told them one example, but I didn't tell them my other example, so I have a slight surprise. So I had the idea with all these remakes and reboots coming out and all of us complaining, I wanted to put it in perspective and give you bad idea remakes. The absolute worst ideas for remakes I could possibly think of. And the original one I gave them was, I want a remake of American Werewolf in London starring Chad Kroeger of Nickelback.
God, that'd be terrible. Oh my God, that'd be terrible.
Look at this lycanthrope. Okay, so here's my other one. And I think Kenneth will probably throw up in his mouth for this one. Okay, here we go. Michael Bay's Metropolis.
Oh. Are you serious?
I gotta go.
Yeah. Are you serious? I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would be horrible.
Okay, so I'm gonna come up with these as much as I can and write them down and bring them up on the show. But we have a giveaway, and our giveaway ties into what I just did. If you haven't seen, we have a YouTube video up that shows you a box of stuff we're gonna give away, including my copy of The Village, which if you want me to, I will sign for you. Wherever you want, on the sleeve, on the plastic case, on the disc. It comes with a really nice, like, kind of like mini pamphlet booklet that tells you like scene selection and stuff. I'll sign it on there if you want.
DVDs used to come with that. That's when DVDs used to come with instruction manuals.
Yeah.
Like, here's how to get to the scene you want.
Yeah.
Swordfish, scene 11, 20 minutes in, Holly Berry's tits. Yes. Thank you, pamphlet.
Oh my God, yes. So, but it also comes with a Michael Myers Funko Pop. It comes with It Follows on Blu-ray, Sinister on DVD, Halloween on VHS. It comes with Cujo, the novel by Stephen King, Friday the 13th on NES, and also a Quint reaction figure from Jaws.
We got so many different platforms in there that, too bad we don't have a laser disc and a beta.
I'll tell you what. If I buy any new release horror movie between now and the 2 weeks when the competition is over, I'll throw in the digital code for whatever that is to whoever wins.
Down. Okay, so here's the thing.
I got one that I'm gonna throw in there too.
Okay.
All right. If I can get it to Jerry within the next 2 weeks to get it into the box, I'm gonna give my PS4 copy of Alien Isolation.
Ooh,
oh wow!
Yeah.
And the box gets bigger. Aren't you glad you listened to this podcast instead of just trying to guess? I bet you are.
I actually could add a laser disc to this, but I don't want to because the box would be huge then.
Yeah, fuck that.
I have a Vincent Price movie on Laserdisc. It's one of his lesser known ones. It's Algeria or something.
Algeria.
It's like it's Tombs of Algeria or something. I don't remember. I bought it for like $2 at a Goodwill. Can you blame me? It has Vincent Price. It's Laserdisc. Come on. So if you want to win this box of amazingness, all I need for you to do is send a message into our Facebook page, facebook.com/Killcast13. That's one word, Killcast13. The 13 is numbers, obviously. Hopefully you get that. Send us in your worst, your best worst bad movie remake. And whoever has the best worst one in 2 weeks, which is the September
22nd, I think is what it's
should be.
Yeah,
we'll post the actual thing on the Facebook page. Send it in by the 22nd, and the winner will get this box. I will ship it out to you, and it will be. I hope it'll make you laugh, make you cry, make you touch yourself at night, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, see, the one you told me, about the dude from Nickelback, it got me to thinking, and I would like, Legend. You remember that movie, Legend?
Yes.
Wait, is that the fucking Tom?
That's
Cruise?
Tom Cruise and Tim Curry as the devil.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie.
With Anthony Kiedis and Flea in it.
Wow. Holy shit.
Which one of them would be the devil? Which one of them would be Tom Cruise?
I'd probably have to put Flea as the devil because Flea's got more of that kind of surfer, what I'm saying, aspect to him. So I'd probably put Flea as the devil.
No, if they really remade that, they'd probably make like Jack Black the devil.
Yeah, probably.
No.
Okay, so before we get out of here, we just want to pimp out our YouTube channel real quick. You can find links to that on our Facebook page. Jay just did an amazing review of the movie Morgan. Jay, tell us a little bit about your format you have and what this show is.
So every Tuesday, my theater does discounted Tuesdays. It's $6 all day, any movie you want to see. I have no local friends who are really into horror, and I'm usually off on the weekdays like that, and my wife works during the day. So out of boredom, I go to the movie theater alone and watch whatever horror movie is in the theater. So I thought about doing quick reviews because we normally talk about older movies on the podcast. That way we get a little bit more content and some content for the YouTube channel. But what I decided to do was nice, quick, short review that the audio plays over the movie trailer. Spoiler free, so you can watch them to see if anything I say gets you to go see the movie or not go see the movie for that matter while watching the trailer to the movie. And that's pretty much it. The first one I did was Morgan. It's a sci-fi thriller. Pretty.
Well, you got to go watch our YouTube if you want to know about that.
Yes,
okay?
Good plan.
And
go watch the YouTube.
The name of your show is
Straight to the Kill.
Straight to the Kill. He gets straight to the point. And he did a really, really amazing job on this first one. Awesome.
It was phenomenal. Anybody out there that listens to this podcast, check it out. It was great.
Now, and they're just going to get better. Next on deck is Don't Breathe, so keep your eyes out for that one.
Now,
I'm going to see that this weekend.
If that is too high quality for you and you need a little bit of more lowbrow improv, well, I got you covered because I do a show called Kill the Trailer. Which, funny story, when Jay went on his personal Facebook, was like, hey, here's my idea, who's got a name for it? The first person was like, oh, you should do Kill the Trailer. And I was just sitting back like, I already beat you to it, bitch.
You did, because if you hadn't, I probably would have used that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So Kill the Trailer is me doing a reaction video to a trailer. So far I've done exclusively Scream Factory releases because they gave me permission to do it, and I think that's awesome of them. So, I do where I try to watch movies I've never seen and react to it. And would I watch it? Would I not watch it? Would I go buy this Blu-ray? Whatever. So, I did a new one today, and it's already up. It is on the 1996 werewolf movie Bad Moon, which I've never seen, which is surprising. I love werewolf movies, and they're mostly terrible. But this one looks like it might be pretty good. So I might pick up the Blu-ray from Shout Factory as soon as I can.
And that's the movie that's based on Creedence Clearwater Revival, right? I'm pretty sure they had something to do.
Did they? I only looked at
it's a bad joke because they have the song Bad Moon Rising.
Oh.
It was a terrible joke. My joke failed.
I like that. So, and then I have
I've seen it.
one.
It was good.
Oh, really? Okay. I've got another Kill the Trailer that I shot today also that will be out later in the week as I get back to my favorite genre in horror movies, the creature feature. And this one involves a Roger Corman action. So we'll leave that to your guess. So
yeah,
that'll
I'm not cool enough.
That'll be up.
Do videos.
Yeah, but Kenneth is working on a blog, and there's going to be some cool cross promotion with that does involve video, so keep your eyes peeled. We don't want to give away too much of that, but there is something coming soon from Kenneth. So,
yay!
Okay, any parting words does anyone have? Jay, do you have any parting words?
Save a life, watch horror.
Okay, I feel like that might be the opposite, but Kenneth.
It's the same as always. You got any suggestions, anything you'd like for us to do in a podcast, anything like that? Anybody out there that has interest in anything, questions for us, where we came from, anything like that, what got us into horror, anything you want to know within reason, just shoot us a message or shoot a comment, something like that, and let us know, and we'll do our best to get to it ASAP.
Yeah, and all I've got for you is you do not need a bigger podcast. We are the one you need. We are the one you want. We are the Click Commander. So, thank you for listening. This has been Kill the Cast doing The Village. We hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, stalk, do whatever you want to do to us. And we will see y'all on Facebook until we get another podcast done. We'll have another one in September, at least one more, as we gear up for the October special edition we will have on Evil Dead, where
Yeah,
we will,
Evil Dead Spectacular.
yeah,
Yeah.
where we will give away a sealed Blu-ray copy of Ash vs. the Evil Dead Season 1.
And maybe more Evil Dead related things. Maybe. You'll have to listen to find out.
We'll see what happens. So that's it for us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us on this. We do appreciate it. We love doing this. And that's all we have. Love us, love horror.